All right, how are you doing? My name is JC Sum, and welcome to episode 2 of the Illusion Breakdown series. Thanks to everyone who joined in to episode 1 as well as watched the playback. Thanks for messages, emails. All good. We're going to have 7 more of these breakdowns in this particular season, and this is episode 2. And today we're going to talk about how to create budget illusions. We all start somewhere, so why not start with not spending too much money? But before I carry on, I know you like great content, so I'd just like to give a shout out to the Magic Master Summit, which is happening next week from the 18th to the 22nd of July. Now, this is a free online magic convention, almost like a series of seminars. There are over 30 presentations by 24 different speakers. I'm giving 2 presentations, one on illusions and one on how to price yourself. This particular convention is actually free when it airs live during that period, during those 5 days. All you have to do is register. You can head over to illusionbooks.com/summit, as in SUMMIT, and check it out. Follow the links. In fact, I've also written a post in illusionbooks.com on what is this Magic Master Summit, what's it about, is there a catch, why is it free? So you can check out all the reasons there. Head over to illusionbox.com. There are also different links to the site. So just click on any of those and head over and register for the summit. And I hope to see you there next week as well. But let's get on to this episode, how to create budget illusions. I should mention, there's a chat box feature in this webinar. So feel free to ask any questions. Just type it in and hit enter, and I'll try to answer any questions that you might have. So what are budget illusions? Of course, budget illusions are, illusions that you don't have to pay a lot of money to buy or to put together. But what do you mean by budget? What is considered a budget? So let's be realistic here. An illusion can cost, let's talk about professional illusion. A professional illusion can cost anywhere from $2,500 to $50,000. Most of them within the $7,000 to $10,000 range, US dollars, without the case and without shipping. And of course, you still can get professional illusions for about $2,000, $2,500. There are builders who do very good quality work at that price. But of course, the complexity of the illusion build, the intricacy of the design, you can't expect $2,000 illusion to look the same as a $20,000 illusion. So with that big range in mind, what is a budget illusion? Well, I think that any professional illusion that's below $2,000 would be considered a budget illusion. An illusion that you put together yourself or have built yourself from a non-professional illusion builder, but an experienced, let's say, a carpenter or props builder, or maybe yourself if you're very handy in the workshop. If you can put it together for $1,000 or below, that's a budget illusion. If you can put it together for below $500, bravo, that's really a budget illusion. So that's a realistic amount of money you'd expect to put aside to invest, whether you're buying or building a budget illusion. It's tough to put together an illusion for $100. I guess it is possible because I have ideas where you can put together $100, $200 illusions, but those are rare. I mean, if you think about it, some close-up effects are already, $100 or $200. Stage effects will be even more. So what more illusions? So if you are going to invest in a budget illusion, figure $1,000. I think that's pretty safe to set aside. And if you really know where to find cheaper material, or the illusion ideas do not require so much building, you can buy stuff off the shelf. You could probably put an illusion together for, I won't be surprised, $200 to $300. It is possible. Of course, being realistic about the budget also is being realistic about where to perform these budget illusions. If you're performing, like a school show, a charity event, a magic club show, a community event, you can do budget illusions. Small family events, carnivals, fairs, I think you could get away with it as well. Of course, if you're talking about Las Vegas stage, a cruise liner, a high-end corporate event, it's harder to do a budget illusion. Or, well, I guess in the context of the whole show, if you put in one budget illusion with the presentation that it is a budget illusion or illusion where you put stuff together from backstage, you could get away with it. So they do have a place on a professional stage. But if you're talking about a whole show of budget illusions, you will need to have the appropriate event or show that you're performing for that to work. So budget illusions is really about being realistic with your budget and being realistic about where you're going to perform them. So it kind of goes hand in hand. But that's not to say that a very professional illusion can't have a budget illusion. And I'll talk about it a bit more in just a while. So where do we source for these budget illusions? Well, I discussed this in a post on illusionbooks.com, which I wrote called 5 Steps of Getting into Illusions. But I'll just go through it briefly here. You can build or you can buy. Now, if you build illusion, you can build it yourself, or you can find an experienced builder, not necessarily an illusion builder, but someone who is handy around a workshop and can put it together for you. If you buy an illusion, you can buy it from a professional illusion builder, or you can buy it secondhand from another magician. So these are kind of your choices of how to source for your budget illusions. Generally, it's hard to find a professional illusion builder who would give you a really budget price. But you know what? Check. Sometimes they have secondhand illusions or illusions which someone ordered, paid a down payment, but didn't complete the purchase. So they have this either incomplete or completed and lying in their workshop. I've actually bought 2 illusions this way because it was incomplete. Someone, bought it, paid a 50% discount or deposit, and the show didn't go through, so didn't go through the purchase. So that meant the builder stuck with this prop. He wanted to sell it. He's already made 50%, so he was willing to sell it at a discounted price, close to 50%. And that's a great bargain. So I've actually gotten 2 illusions this way, 2 professional illusions, probably about 2,000, 3,000, and the actual cost of illusion was closer to 4,000 or 5,000. So you can check with illusion builders if they have such illusions in stock. Sometimes they have showroom models, which they build for conventions, exhibitions to display, or maybe just for a promo video. So if they have it built, it's not really used, maybe used for rehearsals or shoot. You never know. Sometimes magicians who buy illusions from their regular customers may also use them as kind of a brokerage to sell the illusion secondhand. So you can check with professional builders if they happen to have any used illusions or any illusions that might be at a particular discount. You can go to auction sites. You can check Facebook groups. There are several sites which deal with used stage props and illusions, or you can just do a post on Facebook or contact magicians directly and ask them if they have any illusions on hand. In fact, several magicians do that fairly regularly, and they ask me if I have any illusions, and I've sold illusions that way as well, and they get illusions at good prices as well. Some professional builders do build professional level new illusions at a good price. So I'm talking about maybe about $2,000 or just below $2,000. For example, Thomas Clark, magicsax.com. That's magic, SAX.com. He's a licensed builder for some of my props, and I deliberately have some of my props priced at a very, a budget level. So I have a very low royalty or design fee because I told him I want these illusions to be accessible to magicians who are looking for a professional built prop, but don't have more than $2,000 to spend. So that's one source, and you probably can find 1 or 2 other builders who do good work and will charge that price as well. So those are sources of illusions. Now let's talk about resources. This is especially useful if you're going to be building the illusion yourself or putting the illusion yourself together. You can go to library.com, LYBRARY.com, so it's library but with the Y. Now that's a huge portal of ebooks, and they sell a lot of ebooks, and they have a whole section on illusions, quite a few illusion books, and you'll find UF Grant's books there, like cardboard illusions, and other very low price books on illusions. Some are older, some are newer, but a great resource because, for example, UF Grant's cardboard illusions, these victory cartons, which is the magical production of a person from 2 cardboard cartons. That's one of the best budget illusions because all you need to do is hunt down large cardboard carton or boxes like those that fit, refrigerators or big TVs. Although maybe now TVs, not really, because TVs tend to be flat screen now, right? So you need something like a fridge, which is more boxy in nature. So head over to library.com, great resource. Mark Wilson's Complete Course in Magic, probably one of my favorite books when I started in magic, because it really is a complete course. It's everything from close-up, mentalism, stage, parlor, kids magic, and there's a section on illusions, and it shows you, simple, basic illusion principles, but very effective illusions. Don't look down on the illusions because they're great, and you can actually build them yourself at a budget as well. Gary Darwin has a great book called Inexpensive Illusions. So this is a great book because it talks about black art. Okay, guys, I think the feed just cut out. It could be my internet connection. So, guys, let me know in the chat if you can hear me and if you can see me. I doubt you can see me, but if you can hear me, just let me know if you can still hear my voice. And I'll just carry on. So those around, if you can, just go ahead and type in a message. Tell me if you can still hear me, because I can hear the mic still on, but I can't see myself. All right, David, you're saying you can you see me or you can't hear me? You gotta love these live webinars. Okay, so the camera is dead. You can hear me? Okay, thanks, David. Thanks, Rick. Okay, my mic is on, but for whatever reason, the webcam is out. So you're just going to hear my voice. Okay, I'm going to carry on here. Okay, so I was talking about, I'm talking about Gary Darwin's Inexpensive Illusions. Now, that's a great book. I got it when I was in Vegas, actually, in 1993. And that's really on one basic principle, or two basic principles. It's on the black art table, as well as the mummy wrap illusion, which is also discussed in a complete course in magic. So that particular book, I suggest get it. It's thin, it's great, but it's chock full of ideas. He doesn't really go into things like dimensions and stuff, but he gives you so many ideas. It just gets your creativity going. Andrew Main has put out a lot of booklets, videos on inexpensive illusions, many great ideas as well. And, check that out. He's got so many different ones. So Google, check with magic shops and see what you have. Go to illusionbooks.com, my website. I've got free plans. You can download a free plan if you subscribe to the website, and check out the backstage section. Now that's you need to give a small donation, but it's like a cost of a cup of coffee. Just today, I put up a brand new illusion. I call it the $75 appearing girl, because it's literally a way to make a girl appear on a table, and it will cost you only $75 to build. So you can check that in the backstage section. My books and plans in illusionbookstore.com. One book is called Simple Showstoppers. That's specifically, great illusions that perform in a theater setting, but you can put together for less than $500. So that's so much for resources. Let's talk about materials and ideas now. Let's go with the first one. The first obvious one, and I talked a bit about it early on just now with the victory cartons, and that's cardboard boxes and duct tape. So you can actually put together illusions like the victory cartons with cardboard boxes and, taping them together with strong duct tape. You can, Mark Wilson has an illusion, the Afghan tent illusion, which is really great illusion. That you can put together cardboard. Andrew Main has a voodoo box, which is a cardboard box, and you use umbrellas. So it's like a sword box, but you use umbrellas instead of swords, and you use a cardboard box. Very effective, especially when you build it on an elevated platform. Here's an alternative material to cardboard and duct tape, because cardboard and duct tape is great, it's cheap. If you're doing a one-off show, excellent. But if you intend to reuse it, it tends to get dinged up very fast. So you can look for some kind of corrugated plastic. And these come in different thicknesses. You can get them 3 mm, 5 mm, maybe 7 mm. That'll be tougher to find, but definitely you can get them 3, 5, maybe 7 mm. So this is plastic. It's got a honeycomb structure, which means that it's actually two pieces of plastic, and there's kind of a boning or support honeycomb grid inside, sandwiched between the two sheets of plastic. So this causes to be very lightweight, but pretty strong, or strong from the point of view that it can take support. It can hold its own weight more or less. Of course, it's not strong enough for someone to stand on top, of course. But this looks much better than cardboard. It's waterproof. It'll last a much longer time. And if you use aluminum angle or aluminum capping is a U-channel, just 1 mm thick, you can actually cover all the edges with this capping. It not only protects the edges and corners, it makes the entire piece stronger and more stable. And you don't even need to rivet. You can actually use carpenter's glue or yellow glue to fit the angle onto the corrugated plastic. So in this webinar, I'm going to give you, well, no longer webinar, in this podcast, I'm going to give you 3 ideas. Okay, these are 3 ideas that you can use. So these are, I guess, original. I did think of them, but I'm sure someone might have come up with them independently. But here are 3 solid ideas that you can take home and you can do it right away. So here's idea number 1, and it's got to do with cardboard box or using corrugated plastic. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with the sort basket. I'm talking about the traditional sort box. Sorry, not a sort basket, but the sort box. And I actually saw this in Peter Eldon's book. It's a very old British magic book for kids, but it was awesome as well. And I probably read it when I was 11 or 12. And one of the illusions is basically showing you how to do a classic sort box using a cardboard box. And you use wooden dowels, or you could use, I guess, broomsticks. And basically, it just showed how the many sticks, maybe 20 different sticks, which go in the box at all angles. But the person inside is seated in such a way, kind of like seated, I would say, seated on the floor with the legs, tucked in towards the chest and kind of curled. And what happens is everything is worked out such that the rods would pass through or pass by the person's body, the person who's inside the girl. Let's call it the girl. So it past the stomach, past the head, past the neck, just go all across and really just maneuver around the person. So the girl inside literally has the dowel. That's why you can't use swords unless you use a lot of practice. You use dowels and pass the dowels in all directions around her, and it looks great, and it looks almost amazing. Of course, there's the other cardboard sort box where you use sharp wooden dowels and just you apparently violently stab the box and goes through. So that's a bit different because the positioning is a bit different. This one really you can show all angles, and the sorts or the dowels go in every single direction, top, bottom. So it's very, very convincing. Of course, the downside with something like that is it's gonna take a lot of time to present. I mean, you're talking about easily, I don't know, 20 sticks. Each one takes, even if it's 5 seconds, now it can't be more, 5 to 10 seconds because you have to pick up the sticks. So you're talking really about a minute, 2 minutes of just putting in these dowels. And because you can't just put them in fast, the girl has to kind of maneuver and guide them and then go through from one side to the other. They're pre-cut holes, by the way. It would be a very boring performance. However, I thought if you could do this as an appearance, that would be pretty interesting. What do I mean by appearance? Imagine you present the box with all the dowels already in place, or let's call it 19 or 18 of the dowels out of 20 already in place. So you present this curious looking cardboard box stabbed with dowels, and you explain how this is an interesting piece. Maybe it's a puzzle. You can even call it a puzzle, and it's to find enough space to put in the last 2 dowels. And then now you make a big deal about looking around the box, just finding that space to put the last 2 in. So you present it as a puzzle. So, but that presentation also suggests to the audience, wow, there's just so many dowels going through the box, it's just filling up. And it's hard for you to even find the remaining two holes to put in the last two dowels. But you do just that. And then finally you say, well, that's the first part of the puzzle. There's actually a second part of the puzzle. Now you begin to remove the dowels. Now, of course, removing the dowels is fast and it's easy. You remove it, so now all the dowels are up, snap, and a girl, pops out with your next prop that you're going to perform, or with a bunny or whatever you want to do. But that's a great way to use a cardboard sword box as an appearance, not really as a vanish and a traditional sword box, but use it as appearance in the presentation of a puzzle. Okay, here's another idea. Let's talk about furniture, skirtings, and cloth, and as well as screen panels. Okay, what do I mean by this? Imagine you have a table, so a rectangular table, and you have a skirting which goes around the table, at least three sides. So skirting has Velcro, so it's attached to the edge of the table on three sides, and skirting, of course, drops to the ground. You have a cloth which, it's just like a sub-trunk cloth. You can have two dowels at the top as well, so you can protect maybe angles. And you have screen panels. You can do a lot with what I call the moving load of the girl. So imagine if a girl hides, behind the table, under the cloth, and you have another folded screen which you now open up. After you open up the panel to form like a V, but you kind of overlap it in front of the table. The girl runs from the table to the screen. Now you can take off the skirting to show there's nothing there, and then the girl can appear. It's just a very basic idea, but you can experiment with victory cartons, with boxes, with tables and skirtings and cloth, and you realize how many different ideas you can come up with. I came up with one called the Ultimate Victory Cartons, which is just that, and that's described in my book, Illusionary Departures. And all it uses is a victory carton set, skirting, and a table, and you create a very surprising girl appearance. But here's my idea number 2 for you for a budget illusion. All right, this is it. This will cost you less than $50. You have a table, I would say at least 4 feet by 2 feet maybe, and it's covered with a tablecloth. So tablecloth, it doesn't have to be a skirting which is Velcro. You have a tablecloth which is thrown over the table, and the fronts and the sides should at least touch the ground. And you're going to have a box tube. So it's a giant cardboard box, but there's no top and no bottom. However, you have a cutout in one side of the box. So the box is folded flat and is placed, the box tube is folded flat, placed on the table, and you have a girl who's hidden under the table or behind the table. So this is it. You present the illusion by taking the box, lifting it up so that you're showing how flat it is, and you open it up to form the box tube. Naturally, you open it up such that the hole or the cutout at the back, it faces the back, not the audience. The audience should never see it. And it's placed next to the table, kind of touching the table. The girl immediately runs from behind the table and goes into the box. And you want to practice this so you can time it so fast that it only seems like a moment, and you immediately whisk away the tablecloth from the table. So now the audience can see that the table is completely empty and there's nothing underneath. Now you take that tablecloth and cover the entire box. Now, because you cover the entire box, you can turn the box 360 degrees to apparently show there's nothing there. And of course, at the same time, you kind of maneuver it away from the table. And the girl kind of has to shift her position and kind of duck walk with the box tube as she does that. And then once you've turned it around 360 degrees, you do a magical gesture, and the girl now stands up with both hands pushing up on the cloth, mysteriously rising up. The cloth rises off. You whisk away the cloth. Ta-da! You make a girl appear for $50. So that's my idea number 2. So I'm going to talk about black art tables now. The reason I talk about black art tables is because it's inexpensive in the right setting. If you can, if you can have the right lighting, you have a black backdrop, it's all going to be great. So I'm going to talk about black art tables right now. In black art tables, as I said, if you want a source, go to Inexpensive Illusions. And if you want to just think about how effective black art tables are, consider Lance Burton's Sword Fight Illusion. That basis of that is a black art table, and it's an amazing illusion, and it's not that expensive. Obviously, he's got production value when he put it together, but compared to a $20,000 illusion, this must have cost probably hundreds of dollars. And it was it was one of his first main illusions that he did after his Bird Act. So I highly recommend you look at black art tables, work with it, work with portable lightings, work with how you position the lights. This isn't a seminar on black art tables, but I'm pointing you in that direction and suggest that you try that out as a budget or inexpensive illusion. Okay, the final idea I'm going to give you in terms of what you can do to create a budget illusion is to do not an illusion, but to do some kind of escape. That's right. So escapes pack small, aren't that expensive most times, I would say, and they can play big. So whether it's a straight jacket, whether it's a Siberian chain escape, full chain kind of a setup, or a combination of straight jacket and chain with sacks, the possibilities are endless. But having one of these big escape numbers would fit an illusion show, and it's kind of a budget illusion, especially if you have a magical finish. I'm going to give you one specific idea in just a bit, but to point you in another direction, in the book Solo X by Andrew Mayne, he actually produces a motorcycle with the presentation of a straight jacket escape. I won't give it away, so if you want to check out that book. But he combined those two elements together, a big illusion with an escape, and it's still relatively low cost. I mean, you do need a motorcycle. Other than that, a few other things, but you probably put everything together for $100 or $200. So think about escapes, and if you can, especially if you're an illusionist, if you can add a magical touch to it. I used to do a straight jacket escape years ago. So this would have been 1990, 95, 96, thereabouts. And I know I've seen other people do this, so it's not a groundbreaking idea. But at that time, I did come up with it myself. And basically, I did a sign card, finding a sign card in the mouth of the straight jacket. So I would have a jumbo deck of cards. I would someone choose a card, sign the jumbo card, and I'll lose it back in the deck and control it to the top. And then I'll hold the jumbo deck and I'll put it in the sleeves of the straight jacket, and I'll have myself strapped up. And then I would escape. And at the last point, when I'm throwing the jacket over my head, I push the card into my mouth so that when the jacket drops, the audience sees the card in my mouth. I dramatically turn it over and show that's a signed card. So there's a magical finish to the straight jacket escape. So that's one idea. I'm going to give you a concrete, even a bigger idea for a budget illusion with an escape. And that is to build a trunk. So you want to build kind of a sub-trunk. So just imagine a sub-trunk, except it's not, well, it is gimmicked. It's gimmicked in the sense that you have some kind of secret door opening at the back, which you can hinge open, and you can build it such that you can have a lock so that you can actually have the trunk examined. But basically, you need to build a trunk where there's a panel behind which you need to slide or hinge open. And you also have a sub-trunk curtain, and you need stagehands. But essentially, this is what happens. You have the audience examine the trunk, the lid, and you have them examine the straight jacket. You get strapped up in the straight jacket, and you go into the trunk. The trunk is locked up. And basically, at the right time, the stagehands will lift up the all-round curtain. So imagine a sub-trunk all-round curtain, which is around the trunk. Lift it up. And what happens is, of course, once you're in the trunk, you start escaping while they are, locking up the trunk. And once they lift the curtain, and the curtain needs to be bigger at the back, you climb up onto the trunk as they raise it, and then you take it over just as, a sub-trunk handling would be. But basically, so they kind of lift up in one action, and then you take it from them, but then they kind of let go, and now it looks like the curtain is floating in the air. Now you just stand up, raise it up at the same time, slowly, and then lower it, and then drop the curtain to show that you kind of made a magical instant escape. So that's my third idea for a budget illusion, but a very effective one, which can be done, really inexpensively. So I've shared with you different ideas, resources, and 3 specific illusions that you can actually do. So I'm going to end up with one word on budget illusions. Now, budget illusions do not mean you need to deliver a budget performance for the audience. Okay, so it's not, doesn't mean that. Doesn't mean, okay, I'm gonna spend just a few $100s on the illusion, so my performance itself isn't going to be budget. No, you need to ensure that the production value in other areas are high to elevate the overall performance. For example, your choreography, presentation, script, movement, all this should be worked out as you would with a $20,000 illusion. The prop is irrelevant. So think of your choreography, your presentation, your script, how you're going to move on stage with the prop, how you can interact with your assistant if you have one, or stage hands. Everything should be thought out just like a high-end professional illusion performance. Your costumes. Now, naturally, you aren't going to have hundreds or thousands of dollars to spend on your costumes, but make sure your costumes fit the illusions. If you're using cardboard boxes and duct tape, don't wear a sequin jacket. You want to wear something more casual to fit the illusions. Music. Now, that's easy from the point of view to find music and edit and rehearse the music such that everything matches up. So you want the music to match the performance. Now, I see many illusions. I'm talking about budget illusions. It's obviously a budget illusion, so the music should be appropriate. Don't choose a dramatic piece of music from a movie soundtrack, which is just way too dramatic and just too bombastic for a budget illusion. Find music that matches. So match the music to the performance. And you also want to time it. You want a precision timing. So for example, the movement should match the music beats. You should end on cue. All these things would give you a very polished performance, and it won't look like a budget performance even if you're using a budget illusion. If you're performing in a particular venue which has lighting, think about the lighting, work on the lighting design, see how you can make the performance better, more theatrical, how can you enhance it with the use of better lighting. So work with that and use all these elements, your choreography, presentation, script, movement, costumes, music, and lighting to ensure that you elevate your budget illusion to a high-level performance. Now, it does take, of course, time and effort to make a performance complete. And just think about it this way. I can guarantee if you take any good experienced illusionist and you give him a budget illusion and a bit of time, even though it's a budget prop, he will be able or she will be able to deliver a performance of respectable standard. Even though it may be an inexpensive prop, I guarantee you that the quality of the performance will still be high. So always bear that in mind. Budget illusions do not mean a budget performance for the audience. Okay, that's basically about it for this particular webinar. I'm not sure how it went. We obviously had video problems. I'm on a ship right now, so I'm not surprised that the Wi-Fi cut out and I got to figure out what went wrong. But if you're still listening, do check out the Magic Master Summit, as I mentioned, and that's at illusionbooks.com/summit. SUMMIT, or just head over to illusionbooks.com. Reserve your space. It's free. That's happening on the 18th to 22nd of July. If you're listening to this after the fact, after the event, it will no longer be free, but just follow the same links to find out how you can access, I think that 50 hours of content. It's something really ridiculous, but so much information that we shared. All right. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next episode, episode 3. And I guarantee you we won't have these technical problems. My name is JC Sum. Hope to see you on stage.